It's kind of freaky.
Pink panties, a black mask, pounds of drugs, and a man lying dead for days.
Definitely shocking.
The new twist in the unsolved murder that's terrifying a quiet Edmond neighborhood.
It really made us realize that we're not maybe paying attention to the details of what's going on around us as much as possible.
You're watching Oklahoma's News 4 at 10.
More on that story in just a moment, but first, 4 people in cuffs tonight.
Squad cars, tow trucks, guns, all at a chaotic scene near Northwest Expressway in Independence. News 4's Cassandra Sweetman joins us there live now. Cassandra.
Well, the scene has cleared. Police are still investigating, but the traffic is open. Now, police are saying that the 4 people arrested are actually 4 teenagers between the ages of 15 and 17 years old. And one of those teens is wanted for at least 2 shootings in the metro from the past couple weeks. Now, this all started about 8 o'clock, like just before 8 o'clock tonight at Lyrewood Lane in the 7500 block of Lyrewood Lane. We're at an apartment complex. Police were called there when they heard several men were waving guns around, pointing guns at people. When police arrived, they found those 4 teens crouching inside an SUV, hiding. And when they were found, they took off, backed into a police car, and took off down Northwest Expressway, running from police. When they got here to Independence, it was a red light, and they crashed into 2 vehicles. Now, luckily, no one in the other 2 vehicles were hurt. That's when the 4 men bailed, or the 4 teens, I should say, bailed out of the vehicle.
4 subjects took off from the vehicle from there, all running in different directions, and officers were able to get all 4 of them in custody. So we've learned since then that at least one of them has several warrants and is a suspect in a number of recent assaults with a deadly weapon here in Oklahoma City.
Police say that teenage suspect is wanted in the shooting at Bricktown from a couple weeks ago, where someone was injured. Now, tonight, police were able to recover 2 guns. Again, 4 people were arrested. 4 teenagers were arrested here after crashing into 2 vehicles after leading police on a pursuit. Reporting live at Independence and Northwest Expressway, Cassandra Sweetman, Oklahoma's News 4.
Some tough consequences to face tomorrow. Cassandra, thank you. And we turn now back to the other major story that we were telling you about. It involves drugs, sex, and cash.
A murder mystery that's really playing out kind of like a Dateline story, except here in Oklahoma. Family, friends, neighbors, police all asking the same question. What happened to 24-year-old Sawyer English?
News 4's Peyton Yeager tackling the story tonight, and she joins us now live in Edmond with a newly uncovered court document that cuts straight to the core of this unsolved crime.
Yeah, guys, Sawyer English's home behind me, still a very active crime scene today. A biohazard cleanup crew spent the entire afternoon cleaning up inside and outside the home. Edmond PD still staying very silent on the case, but they did release a lengthy and interesting list of items police took to the evidence room.
I know my neighbors.
But when asked if the people on First Street knew Sawyer English,
No, I did not.
I mean, I didn't know him.
the 24-year-old found dead inside his Edmond home with multiple gunshot wounds to the back after he didn't show up to work for nearly a week. His body found by police after concerned coworkers called 911. For this murder, mum still seems to be the word.
I just kind of let them do their work.
That is until Tuesday. Newly released court documents reveal a break in the case. The same day, News 4 ran into a biohazard cleanup crew at the home. Workers seen roping off hazardous materials, boxing up English's belongings.
It definitely is shocking.
This search warrant shows police spotted 3 shell casings outside the home under a window with a bullet hole in it. Inches away, a black mask discovered at the bottom of this trash can. Blood found in the kitchen, living room, and splattered on the wall. And pounds of drugs, scales, and pipes found scattered with $3,000 in cash.
It really made us realize that we're not maybe paying attention to the details.
But the details don't stop there. Detectives finding woman's underwear under English's bed along with a used condom in the trash can.
It's kind of freaky, but when you live in a freaky neighborhood, it's not as freaky as some of the other stuff that goes on here.
Sawyer's family still not ready to speak publicly. Police haven't mentioned any suspects or persons of interest. Those living nearby feeling uneasy about the unsolved murder next door. Overly suspicious as they try to comb through their memories of anything unusual they saw that weekend. One telling us there was a visitor they'd never seen before.
I saw a truck down there.
She says she didn't think anything of it until now.
It didn't seem like they were having a confrontation.
That search warrant also revealed that Sawyer English had an in-home surveillance camera in a back room in the back of the house. Police are in possession of that camera, but cannot confirm to me if key evidence was recorded. Reporting live in Edmond, Peyton Yeager, Oklahoma's News 4.
And Peyton, we know that is a difficult story to be on today. Thank you for that report. A couple in Stroud murdered, and now their son is a person of interest. He is in custody, though, at this hour, but for a different crime. This is an ongoing story, and we've been following it since this morning. Mark and Pauletta Pittman found dead inside their home in Stroud this morning. The OSBI says their bodies were found in the living room and bedrooms. Now, their son, 39-year-old Sean Pittman, he was on the run for hours today. Officials say he lived at the same house as his parents, and they wanted to know if he knew anything about who killed them. Well, just before 6 o'clock this evening, police did find him. He was allegedly drunk and behind the wheel less than a mile away from home. Tonight, he's in jail on a DUI. Again, as of right now, he is only a person of interest. Police have not officially named him as a suspect yet.
Also tonight.
Hey, get your hands up! Get your hands up! 1033. Get your hands up! Got one running with a gun! 113, shots fired.
A shootout on Maine Street and the moments that started the bizarre standoff that came next. Police releasing new body cam footage today. It all went down near Northwest 36th and Meridian. Calls flooding into 911 about a man waving a gun, also allegedly hitting a woman with a car. But the heart-pumping chaos turned into a long waiting game when the man lied down in a backyard, allegedly refusing to crawl to officers. They waited for more than half an hour for a special team to get there before they were able to arrest him.
And now more details about a raging inferno that police say was set deliberately. We brought you this story as breaking news a few weeks ago at 10. The man accused of igniting it, 35-year-old Robert Cravey. Tonight, the incriminating evidence he left behind. News 4's Brent Skarkey on the Night Beat.
The arriving firefighters stated that they had a lot of fire involved. It was a well-involved home.
A blazing inferno on a quiet northwest Oklahoma City street.
It's a really calm neighborhood.
Now we are learning more about what allegedly caused the fire back on June 24th.
We saw homeless people coming in and out of the house. The cops were out there a couple times.
Neighbors told our firefighters that transients were in and out of this home quite often, and sometimes more than one at a time.
According to court records, this man, Robert Cravey, was in some kind of feud with those homeless people. His girlfriend telling authorities he set the fire in retaliation for them trying to break into her apartment next door. Investigators found these texts from that night, Cravey saying to his girlfriend, "Bottom line is, f with me and mine enough and wind up like a movie ending, period, end of story." He allegedly goes on to text, "These freaks are being escorted out," and "They're not going to f with us again." Investigators determined the fire was set in multiple locations, in the kitchen, dining room, and living room.
What they're trying to do in a situation like that is make sure that it gets going very quickly. Those who are starting fires intentionally do everything they can to give that fire a good head start so that our efforts won't be as effective.
Ultimately, documents say the girlfriend saw Cravey returning to the apartment complex, coming through the fence, holding a charcoal lighter container.
It puts our firefighters at great risk every time we have to go into a fire. So it's obviously something, if we can take someone off of the streets who is doing that type of thing, that's what we want to do.
And that was Brent Skarkey reporting. Cravey is facing first-degree arson charges. If convicted, he could face up to 35 years behind bars.
Now to another breaking story we are following tonight. This one just coming into our newsroom within the last 20 minutes. A body found under a bridge near the Oklahoma River.
And News 4's Brent Skarkey went straight to the scene along with photojournalist Jack Chen. Brent, what is going on out there?
Well, details are very sketchy right now. We are actually just south of I-40 under a bridge on I-44 that crosses the Oklahoma River. Initially, police and officials had found a body they say was either unconscious, maybe passed out. Now they believe that body is dead, a deceased body. We have not confirmed whether it's male or female, but once again, they have found a deceased body under the bridge just south of I-40 this bridge that is part of I-44 that crosses. Many are familiar with the Dell Computer offices. We are just to the east of that, so details are sketchy right now. There are multiple cars on the scene. Police are investigating. We will get more information as we learn of it. Once again, a deceased body under a bridge, I-44, just south of I-40. We'll get you up to speed with more as it becomes available to us. From South Oklahoma City, Brent Skarkey, Oklahoma's News 4.
Also tonight, we are still following that breaking news. More on that, but we're still tracking the weather as well.
Yeah, indeed. It was a scorcher out there today. Mike, is there still more to come, or what's the story?
Hot temperatures today, guys, but extremely high humidity thanks to all the recent very wet spring and early summer weather. A heat alert continues right on through tomorrow, but that should also spark some storms. Some could be severe, and I'll have that timeline for you next.
All right, thank you, Mike. And it is called an invisible illness. You look healthy, but your body, it's at risk. A News 4 special report as we tell you about one woman's battle to regain her life and the mystery illness that has doctors baffled. Stay tuned, it's next.
You're watching Oklahoma's News 4 at 10 with Jolene Cheney, Kevin Ogle, Mike Morgan, Brian Brinkley, and Scott Hines in your corner. Oklahoma's News 4, looking out for you.
Yeah, 0 so far. Hey, we're here. Tell me, what are we doing? Okay, pod key, big board.
Complicated diseases can be difficult to diagnose, especially when those symptoms are hidden.
Tonight, the story of a young woman with an invisible illness. For months, doctors were baffled. In fact, some diagnosed mental illness. They were insisting that it was all in her head.
Here's Allie Meyer with more on common medical conditions routinely overlooked.
J.C. Robison, number 10 on the court, varsity, her freshman year at Cashion, a talented shooting guard with high hopes of playing college ball.
I wanted to be the best of the best, always, in school, in sports, whatever I was doing.
She'd been playing competitively since the 5th grade, and right as her career was about to take off, J.C. was sidelined by an invisible illness.
Like, maybe something just really wasn't right.
She fainted after the championship game her junior year, the beginning of a medical mystery it would take specialists months to untangle.
I went back to school and I started passing out multiple times a day. and I stared just waking up feeling nauseous and just with headaches.
Her health, a slow-moving disaster. Over the course of a few semesters, chronic fatigue, vertigo, and migraines transformed her life from the inside out. The athletic, accomplished varsity freshman graduated high school, limping through practice, depleted by a condition with no cure.
I just looked like a healthy teenage girl, but my body on the inside obviously was fighting this struggle that no one could understand. And it was frustrating for me.
Again and again, doctors were baffled about what was wrong. Several suggested it was all in her head.
They recommended I go see a psychiatrist. Again, like maybe it's anxiety.
And the truth is, it is almost entirely in her head, in her brain, the headquarters for the central nervous system. You see, JC has a disorder of the autonomic nervous system, which controls automatic body functions like heart rate, respiratory rate, digestion, and more.
This is just the messaging from your nerves to certain organs going awry.
Officially, the diagnosis is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, POTS, more common in girls 4 to 1, with an onset in the late teen years of adolescence.
It's not commonly understood for people to make the diagnosis.
POTS is a failure of the nervous system to regulate blood flow. Rapid heart rate and low blood pressure cause fainting, nausea, and migraines. There is no fix. JC takes 15 pills a day to manage her symptoms. Immunoglobulin infusions, also helpful. Antibodies from donor plasma trick her nervous system into turning off the misfires.
It allows her to get out of bed. It allows her to function like a normal young adult.
Every 4 weeks, JC comes here to Coram CVS Specialty Infusion Services to sit and sleep through an 8-hour-long IV drip.
But it's kind of a Band-Aid. It just kind of soothes them, I think, for the time being and doesn't allow my body to act up.
An experimental cocktail that seems to be working.
I would take it from her in a heartbeat if I could, you know.
Her dad here for support. Family is a lifeline for JC. She's 24 years old, still trying to figure out how she's going to be able to maintain a full-time job while managing her chronic illness.
She's just got to be very, diligent in managing her time like she always has been.
JC's basketball days are long gone. She is inspiring off the court now. Completing her undergraduate degree at OSU last year, JC decided to stay to get her MBA with a focus on managing disabilities in the workplace.
I don't pray for physical healing because I think that I have this for a purpose, and that purpose is to help other people who are dealing with POTS or something else that you can't see, these hidden disabilities.
Inner strength, born out of the hardship of invisible illness. Allie Meyer, Oklahoma's News 4.
Researchers think 1 in 100 teens have POTS. About 80% outgrow their symptoms, though.
As for JC, though, she has a chronic form of the illness, and she's going to have monthly infusions, at least for the foreseeable future.